persist until the formation of the National Wrestling Alliance in 1948. The NWA as a central governing body, with its singular, undisputed world champion, would be absolute and undeniable. This control, combined with the expansion of the interstate highway system, and the inevitable popularity and availability of regional television, would usher in an era of wrestling that was defined by what would come to be known as the territory system. The territory system would dominate wrestling for nearly 4 decades, while the borders, authority, popularity, and obedience of individual NWA territories was in a near constant state of flux. To this day, the impact and influence of these territories is still felt. Each territory had its own signature promoter and star. While it is impossible to cram these characteristics into a static, concrete map, we are damn sure going to try anyway.
So open up your eyes, way before it gets too late. Now one man, there's no way you can. Hit the street lights running, don't give a damn. A simple explanation that you'll never find. Sinners never sacrifice. We never leave love alone. Is hate really worth the price? Look at what we've done. Never cared for compromise. Always threatening someone's life, and it feels like the end of the world.
All right, welcome to another edition of This Week in Pro Wrestling, the sister show of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast.
Show, yes.
I want to thank everybody for joining us on Friday, right before SmackDown and Rampage.
Oh, yeah, Rampage, yeah, go on.
You don't like Rampage?
It's okay. I think it's insanely overrated, though. People are going nuts. Oh, it's the greatest thing ever.
Well, I don't know. Tony
man.
Khan from Wednesday's bragging. There's 1.1 million people
That's for Dynamite, not for Rampage.
for Dynamite.
Yeah.
Watched the show with
Yeah.
the company that's built around surprises.
Right. Eventually, you're going to run out of surprises. You realize that, right?
So we were talking the other day.
And when they look at their bank account, they're going to go, oh, crap, what the hell did we do?
This is true. But
Yeah.
we were talking the other day when I asked you, I said, hey, Jimmy, who do you think the surprise guest was going to,
yeah.
the supply, how are they breaking
Right.
down the fourth
Well,
wall?
the big thing was the forbidden door. Who's going
Right.
to walk through the forbidden? And who were the people we decided is a
Forbidden
big
door,
deal?
fourth wall.
Well, yeah. Who are the people?
So
Shane.
someone asked me at work and said
Okay.
to me, after all this happened,
Yeah.
they're like, I don't think there's anyone left to move the needle. And I said, no, there were a few. And so
sure.
obviously Keith Lee was one of the big
Right.
surprises.
But the
that
guys
happened.
we were thinking of, like, who would really blow our minds? We said, well, if Shane, who's been recently fired.
Shane would make it a must watch Wednesday.
Triple H, we don't even know if he's alive.
Right.
How do we know he didn't, walk through the forbidden door?
Right.
And what was the other person? There was like 3 people we said, Bray Wyatt.
Bray
We were
Wyatt.
like, if any one of those
But
3,
Bray-
it's a big deal.
But we said Shane, and we said Shane, Triple H, top tier.
Absolutely.
Bray Wyatt,
Correct.
second tier.
Correct.
Karrion Cross,
Not even in those
Keith
tiers.
Lee, third tier.
That's what's hilarious about this. Here he comes, Keith Lee.
Oh, my God.
Wow,
Did
what a game changer.
Did you hear Jim Ross and Excalibur and Tony Schiavone? Oh, we're so happy you came to AEW. Oh, my God.
Right,
It's
right.
fucking Keith Lee, dude.
Right, calm down. And besides, wasn't he something else? Something like Giant Beaver or something? What do they call him? They had
Bearcat.
Oh, I thought it was Giant Beaver. I'm sorry.
Don't offend the fans out there.
What? They could
But
think,
all I could think-
hey, keep it clean out there.
All I
Go
could
on.
think about was you saying, no matter what the AEW throws out there, those fans
They're
just
gonna
go along
wild
with it.
Go
no matter-
wild. Yeah, but they weren't done. Not only did Keith Lee walk through the forbidden door, but here
First
he
of all,
comes.
Keith Lee wasn't a forbidden door. He's a free agent, so
Yeah,
that's
well,
not even fair.
I
The guy
think
you're about
it's-
to mention is the forbidden
I
door.
bet you Vince somehow thinks it's forbidden anyway. Hey, you can't do that. But
You
oh
belong
yeah,
to me.
but- yeah, right. But this blew my mind. I'm like, wow, you've really moved the needle now. Here comes Switchblade Jay White. Now, here's the problem. You know that I'm a real nerd when it comes to this shit.
Right.
I had New Japan for years and years and years.
Right.
I
You totally,
will-
yeah. That and
Okay.
what?
Well, you remember 3MB?
Yeah.
Well, for those of us who have watched New Japan for years, Jay White was the bottom of the card. As a kid, coming up for years, he never won a match. For years. I would watch every freaking... Years! He was at the bottom. I'm talking...
In New Japan.
In New Japan. I'm talking Frank Williams, bottom of the card. Losing every... Then eventually, somehow, they decided he was going to be a champion. And I'm looking and I'm going, it was so impossible for me to ever readjust. So while he has improved and he's excellent in the ring, he was even excellent when he was getting the shit kicked out of him.
Right.
But it's not something for me to go, wow, they got Jay White. Do you realize what kind of 35 pounds of shit in a 2-pound bag this company's becoming? They have 8 million wrestlers now. How are you going to fit them all into good, consistent storylines? How are you going to make things coherent? How are you going to have balance and fairness? It's not going to happen. This is fucking ridiculous. I can't grasp onto what they're doing. Sure, I've got the basic gist when I see Jericho. I know what he's done there. Or even Moxley. But there's so many guys now. Where is Keith Lee going to fit in? Where do you think he fits in? What, you going to get a title shot and lose?
Right.
I mean, what happens to these studs that they bring in once they get their main event shot and don't win the belt? Then what do they do with them? Have they thought about that? What becomes of Keith Lee? Was he going to win some sort of secondary title? I'm the TNT champion. By the way, that belt's a joke to me, but that's a whole nother story.
Well, I was thinking about that, right? And you're 100% right.
Jeez.
Who fought Cowboy for the title last night?
What was that? I don't have a television.
What's his name?
So we're doing this again with what's his name?
I know, it's terrible.
It's a terrible thing.
It's anyway, not to make it long, but anyway, that guy's disappeared. I mean, it's like you're right. Once where are they going?
Oh,
with
you
these
mean
guys?
Lance Archer?
Yeah,
for
Lance
God's
Archer.
sakes.
Done. This is it.
But did you really think though that it goes to show how forgettable this shit is?
Yeah, it
because
is.
I did watch this last night, and you know why I've already forgotten it?
Why?
Because Lance Archer was a scrub a million years back on Vince's old product. Or was it the bad ECW or something?
Right.
I mean, boo! I can't take this shit seriously, dude. I can't. You know.
Do you think we're just anti AEW or
No, it's not even that. It's not even that. I mean, Paige. Who's the next champion in AEW? Is it CM Punk?
I hope not.
Who's it going to be?
Well, by the way, going back
what
to
do
that,
they plan to
the
do
show
with this?
opens up with MJF, which everybody knows, right?
Right, he should be the next
And then,
champ.
here we are. We're building this story with Wardlow.
Yeah.
And look, good idea.
Yeah.
Talk about bad premise and bad, I don't want to say story writing because it's not the story writing, but here they go. Here's MJF talking. They do a hard camera cut to Wardlow making faces.
Right.
Like, oh, you know what I
Right.
mean? You got to keep building. You talk about like these anti-WWE guys. They build a story. This is like MJF says something. Hard camera cut.
Right.
Obviously, Wardlow's upset. First, he comes out with the cutouts. You see he's angry that he's carrying the cutouts. It's like overacted, overplayed, It's garbage. It's like make a slow build. I know they're trying to slow build. A lot of people say this has got to happen already, right? It's already got to happen. He's got to turn on MJF. Can't turn on MJF yet. He's in the middle of a feud with CM Punk.
Right.
You know what I mean? Make
Right.
it a little less obvious.
Wardlow to me is in Ryback country. And you know what that means? That means that he's a huge dude who's missing a lot of things.
Dude, they can't do anything with these big
There's
guys.
a lot of things about Wardlow that just don't make it. Goldberg! And by the way, what's this shit? They chanting Wardlow like they would chant the name Goldberg? Don't ever insult Goldberg like that. Oh, but he can't wrestle. He can't do that. He's Goldberg!
How did you feel about Goldberg coming out and challenging Reigns in Saudi?
I was like, yeah, well, that figures. At least they're going to waste it in Saudi Arabia.
I just think, you know what? It's a good filler match.
I mean, what? You don't find it slightly interesting? I do.
I do,
That's
why
cool.
not?
Let them kill each other. That's fine.
I mean, I heard...
At least there's two big, believable guys trying to murder each
I heard
other.
Bully Ray and LaGreca saying that they really should let Goldberg beat Reigns for the title and have people talk about it. No.
What? Thank
Just
God.
let them
Wait
lose.
a second. Wait. Thank God you're not holding the pen over there.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
That's a horrible idea.
It is horrible.
That is fucking horrible.
It's like, oh, it doesn't
How
hurt
could you
Reigns.
not know
Reigns
that?
could win the title back the following week.
No.
You cannot disrupt
No.
Reigns' title reign.
Absolutely not. The only thing that should ever disrupt Reigns' title reign is either one of the guys from the Shield or
Which you're hoping for.
yeah, because I can smell that too. Because I do believe in. I'll just throw it out there. I think eventually Dean Ambrose is coming back. So yeah. Oh, can you hear them? Ah, what do you mean?
I'm not going to necessarily disagree
I
with
think
you
he
because
is.
the
The Shield is an
WWE
investment.
has trademarked
Right.
Dean Ambrose's name.
Of course they have.
Again.
Of course they have.
Right?
Of course they have.
So
And who took care of much of John Moxley's personal issues in the past? With
The WWE?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
But
So-
back to
I can see it.
AEW because we really should just talk about AEW.
We have to? Fine. Go ahead.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, go on. I
MJF,
still like parts of
MJF
AEW. but-
is great on the mic. We all know this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
CM Punk has lost his luster. Phil has lost his
Fine
luster.
on the mic.
No, to me, he should have never came
He
back.
just looks like the guy who coaches you at the gym. Come on, another
No,
few
dude,
reps,
he doesn't
you
look
know?
like that guy. He
No,
looks
no,
like,
no. He's like the skinny guy who tells other guys how to
But
lift
he
weights.
looks like the guy like, great you came back, but now I wish you didn't. Because
I don't know if I would go that far, but to me, you're close though. Great that you came back, but geez, is this all we get? That's how I feel.
right.
If you know what I'm saying.
Now you got other people saying, "Oh my God, his match with MJF was a classic." You could see
Here
he
we
still
go again,
got it.
throwing around the classic word.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is that word always getting tossed around? I don't understand that at all. Nah, that's nonsense. Nah, no thanks.
Do you think
Classic. Jesus God, everything's a classic.
All right, let's go back.
Shawn Michaels,
Let's go back.
Razor Ramon, ladder match. That's classic.
Why can't AEW do anything with the big guys?
That's a great question,
Right?
man.
You got
Well, who are the truly great, dominant bad guys you could sell the shit out of?
that you
like,
could.
wait,
Lance
I'm gonna-
Archer, you could have. I thought no.
No, absolutely not. No, when I think big guys, I'm thinking Braun Strowman.
Yeah, but Lance Archer's
I'm
a big
thinking-
dude. He's
yeah,
tall.
but not Braun Strowman. I bet you if you stood the two of them together, you'd realize
There's
just how big.
No, I understand
you
that,
know,
but
Braun Strowman
in
is.
AEW, you don't have.
Wardlow's a beast in AEW as far as physical
Yes,
specimens.
absolutely.
I think Wardlow is.
Okay.
Rusev is in AEW. Rusev is a physical specimen.
By the way, where's he been?
I don't know. I heard that he was at Dunkin' Donuts getting
That's
you and I
what
coffee.
you understand?
Getting you and I coffee rolls.
It's like you're
Cold
here for a
coffee
week,
rolls.
and then we don't see you for 5
Yeah,
weeks.
it's ridiculous. This is my whole point. There's a million kabillions jammed into a 2-pound bag. And eventually, like you've always pointed out, they're going to look at their bank account and go, "What the fuck did we do?"
Considering that it's a show that's driven by television,
Right.
Like,
And surprises.
You talk about
That's
that.
the best point
You
of
talk
all.
about that is the biggest.
It
point.
is. It's the best.
You
point
talk
of all.
about the WWE be a television-driven show.
Right. Sure.
AEW is more of a television show driven, like revenue-wise, than the WWE is.
but a hell of a lot less polished.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they talk about NXT now. There's so many screw-ups in
Right.
AEW. Again, I'm not attacking AEW. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I guess we are attacking AEW.
No,
right?
we're just observing.
Right?
I'm observing. I'm not attacking it. I'm not attacking. I'm peaceful. I think.
Last night they did the show out of Atlantic City.
Yeah.
They sold 5,500 tickets.
Okay.
There were still 1,680 tickets available.
All right.
Again, in today's day and age,
That's fine.
we're not going to sit there and argue
whatever.
about
That's
that,
fine.
right?
That's fine.
The Inner Circle,
Yeah.
they're building that breakup. What did you find
Right.
out? What did you think about that?
Well, how do you feel about Sammy as a Sammy Guevara as a face? I guess he's got to play the face here, but I feel like he's a much better arrogant, cocky little prick. So I'm having a hard time, getting behind Sammy the face or the potential Sammy the face. It's like, yeah.
Well, here's the classic screw up in pro wrestling, and
Okay.
AEW just following suit.
Right.
Okay, here it is. FTR,
Yeah.
their job is tag team.
Right.
They've been together forever.
Right. They are a tag. The
But hold on.
example of a tag.
CM
team,
Punk
sure.
needs a partner. He calls in John Moxley, and guess who wins?
Of course.
CM Punk and John Moxley.
How could they possibly lose those two?
To the tag team.
Right.
That's all they do.
Right. Well, apparently they don't do it well enough.
That was always
1, 2,
been a
3.
problem back in the day when the Samoans would wrestle Backlund and Morales.
I hate to do this to you,
Go
but
ahead,
could
go
you
ahead.
imagine how some of the best teams of the time period felt when Hogan and Savage were put together?
But they didn't really wrestle anybody but
But who wanted to put them as one of the greatest tag teams of all time?
Because they were great.
There you go. And how do you think some of the people in the locker room felt about that were tag teams?
That's a good point. But again, hold on.
Come on.
I'm gonna counteract that, right?
Oh, nice.
So they wrestled Andre and the $1 Million Man,
Yeah.
who were not a regular team.
That's true.
And they beat them.
That's true.
They wrestled Big Boss Man and Akeem, who are a regular team.
Right.
And guess what happened?
Did they get DQ'd or counted
They
out?
broke up.
They
broke up.
Well,
they
that
got
was
counted
just,
out.
That was
right?
just a vehicle.
But no, but
That doesn't count.
But again,
I'm
they
talking
lost
about,
to the
you're
established
trying to
tag
slide
team.
out that
But
back
it's
door
true.
there.
This is not. These are facts. We can look at the history books.
Vince McMahon's sitting there right now watching this going, way to go, Monty! That's right. I put them together and they were
The
great.
WWE, though, had made those mistakes. We could go back to Morales
Sure.
and Backlund beating the Samoans and winning the tag
Boy,
team
did
titles.
I love that, though.
But how stupid
did
it is.
love that.
Here are the Samoans
Right.
who live, breathe,
Right.
eat tag
Right.
team wrestling, and you
Right.
put two guys together and you beat those
You know
guys.
what made that so special, though?
Why?
Back in 1980, first of all, the thought of champions even being in the same ring at the same time was unheard of.
Right, right.
You had Backlund and Morales. They held the top two belts. They had all the belts.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? It was like the coolest thing I had ever seen. I was like, wow, this is great. And then you introduced me to the fact that good guys suck. And that was the end of that.
the end of it.
That was the end of that.
So
That's a happy
overall,
ending, doesn't it?
before we cut out, and plus Jade Cargill won her match.
Wow. All
Cargill looks great.
goosebumpy. All
Looks
goosebumpy.
great.
Yeah.
Terrible on the mic. Terrible wrestler.
Anthony Moore.
And you know what? She looks great.
Oh,
though.
by the way, what belt does she hold?
The TBS championship.
Wow, the tuberculosis championship? That sounds
And
awful.
by the way,
What are you
okay,
talking
again, all the
about?
pro wrestling experts go, the WWE has too many belts. Why do they have two heavyweight champions? Well, because Raw needs a champion
yeah.
and SmackDown
There's
needs
two
a
different
champion.
major
right?
programs,
The
right.
Universal Championship
Right.
is the universe.
Right.
The
Right.
WWE champion is the WWE Championship.
Yeah. And notice, by the way, that there's not a USA Network championship.
Very good.
Lame. TBS.
So with that,
TNT.
overall, happy with Wednesday night show.
It was okay. There's points that I liked, and there was points I didn't like. You know, I look at AEW every week like I look at any other show. I don't go right off the bat before I even start watching it. This is going to be great, even if they fart.
Right.
CM Punk farted. Did you hear that?
All right,
That was
guys,
awesome.
you got that almost go
That
home
was
show,
awesome.
SmackDown at 8 o'clock tonight, and then you've got Rampage. So enjoy your Friday night.
Yeah, try
and
to.
enjoy the Super Bowl. Who's your pick for the Super Bowl?
Ay, you wouldn't do this to me right now. That's awful. You go first. What's your pick?
I'm going to go with the Rams. Nope, I can't. No, I'm going to have to go with Cincinnati because
Yeah, interesting.
the Rams quarterback is a bum.
Right, you think he's like, got that loser factor.
Loser factor.
Interesting. Well, you know what? If it comes to just balls, the Cincinnati Bengals will win the Super Bowl.
But then again, what
Because
kind
Joe
of...
Burrow's got.
I really
got some
wish it would
balls.
be a draw because I
hate
don't
them
ever
both.
want to see the Bengals be a
Yeah,
Super
what the hell's
Bengals
going
at a
on
Super Bowl
here?
championship.
Yeah, no, this is
Look.
lame.
All right, this is This Week of Wrestling.
Yeah, you've been watching This Week in Wrestling, and until next week when you watch This Week in Wrestling, later.